Hi, everybody. I just want to see if everybody can hear me for right now. I know it's kind of like I usually don't get a lot of feedback right away. So if you guys can hear me okay, let me know. I got about close to 40, 45 people in this chat. So this is actually a really small chat. Usually I'm used to having close to 200. So I didn't get to advertise this as much as what I wanted to do. So this is kind of like a last minute slide or an advertisement on this. So this is my second time doing a deal when it comes to the Q&As with YouTube. So this is actually kind of a new deal for me. So I'm liking it so far. And you guys can hear me okay, sweet. So we're gonna go with this as long as we possibly can. I mean, I know that we're here till 8 o'clock. Sometimes the questions fade out. It depends on how many people are asking questions and things like that. So just remember, when it comes to this chat forum, I'm not necessarily going to be doing any psychic or mediumship readings on this. This is more for the Q&A because I have so many people that are beginning their spiritual journeys that have questions, and they don't always have access to be able to talk to somebody like myself, such as a psychic or medium, to know if what they're feeling or hearing or seeing or what their own abilities that they're going through are right. And sometimes you need that validation. So that's why I like to do these free Q&As, just because a lot of people just want to be able to ask me maybe one or two questions, not necessarily personal or pertaining to their own stuff. So I'm going to start by answering some questions. Let me see. Somebody said that they do not I feel like I do not belong anywhere since I was very little, always wanting to be in somebody else's family but mine. I will tell you that's actually pretty common, especially with indigo type people. So I'm also considered an indigo. There's 3 different types of intuitive people. So there's the indigo, there's the crystalline, and then there's the rainbow. So and we can be an empath in either one of these 3. So an empath is kind of an extra different ability. So just indigos have to eventually own their own uniqueness. I don't fit in. I don't look like anybody in my family. I don't fit in with my family. Nobody in my family has psychic or mediumship abilities. So I have always been kind of the black sheep of the family. But once I accepted myself and figured out who I was, what I wanted, what my purpose was, I was able to accept my own unique abilities. So most people who are very highly intuitive are the black sheeps of the family. So my advice to you is to tell everybody else is just own who you are. You're not made to fit in. God didn't make you that way. So don't try to conform to something that you're not. You're not. So just be the unique person that you are, own it, and be able to figure out why you have what you have and why you chose the situation that you're in, because we choose our families. And I'll tell you, I clearly see why I choose my mom, my dad, my brother. I clearly see why I chose those growing up, because they made me who I am. So we have to learn sometimes through polarity, which is people who are opposite of us, to define who we are better as a person. So that's a lot of the reason why I'm going to tell you, just own who you are. You're not made to fit in. You're not going to. That's okay. So, and if somebody has a problem with it, it's their freaking problem. It's not yours. So, I've heard you explain heaven is home. Is there a hell? And are we in it trying to learn our lessons to get out of it? Okay, so yes and no. Yes, there is a heaven. We do refer to that, or they refer to that as home. So a lot of times you'll notice when people are dying, they say, I just want to go home. Well, they want to go home. So is there a hell? Yes, there is. However, it's usually very temporary, because if your soul does go to hell, you're not staying there very long. Trust me. You're like, Jesus, God, Buddha, somebody get me the hell out of here. So it literally scares you at a soul level for you to return home. So it's usually very temporary. So because remember, we're all a piece of God's light. So even if you go there, it's temporary, then usually you're going to ascend into heaven or go home. So yes, there is. Earth is pretty shitty. So it's not necessarily hell, but there's a lot of similarities, right? So, but understand that we choose lessons here. We choose different things for ourselves. So you have to try to find the beauty in the chaos. So that's why you choose to leave heaven, to come here to experience partial hell, and then to return back home, lessons learned. So, but we love to learn, so that's why we love to keep coming here to this shithole, right? So, so just understand that, yeah, there's just lessons are better learned, and you can learn better, deeper, quicker if you have adversity or polarity or opposition. So, hopefully that makes sense. Somebody was asking me, how did I learn tarot? Oh, that's a hard one. You know, somebody handed me a tarot card deck and they said, you know, here, check these out. I think you might like them. I loved them, fell in love with them right away. Odd, because I had tarot card decks when I was in college, but I didn't know what to do with them. So once I received them in my 30s, I immediately know that I needed them. I just didn't know how to use it. So I found the guidebook that went with it. And then what I started doing was once a day, I would take a card out of the deck, stare at it, hold it, put it in between my hands, and figured out what that meaning was for me. And then I would put that card back, and the next day I would grab another card. And so after I finished that deck, then I would slowly start reading people. But when I read people to start with, I did it for constructive criticism. I didn't do it for money, because I wanted to know, you know, was I doing it right? Was I doing it wrong? What could I be doing better? So I started out doing it with constructive criticism. And honestly, I didn't do it so much with family, because family is difficult for me to read. So I started doing it with friends. So once I started getting constructive criticism back, then I finally felt better to be able to do this for other people then. So that's kind of slowly how it started. It wasn't something like I was like, oh, I know what to do. I mean, it took me a little while to figure it out, maybe like 3 or 4 months. But once I figured it out, and once I understood what my tarot deck meant for me, then it was no holds barred. So because in the book, it tells you certain things like, you know, what other people think about you. I don't give a shit what people think about me. I don't care. So that I ended up not doing it my own system or my own way. Once I told my spirit guides, this is how I want it, then it was that way from that point forward. And I tell people all the time, once you know your sign from spirit, once you understand that connection and that communication, don't try to fix it. Don't try to make it better. Just leave it as it is and perfect what you already know. That's what's going to be the best thing for you. Okay. I constantly have headaches between my eyes, constantly see 1111, 444. You know, I see things before they happen. Is that me? It's my spirit guides. No, it's you. So when you're seeing 1111, that means to tell me that you are officially in the enlightened club. So you're officially enlightened or awoken. So that's what I'm going to tell you. So the reason why you're getting headaches is because you're not grounding down. Your third eye chakra right here is open, but it's probably a little crooked or it's not quite straight. So that's why you're getting the headache. So what I would tell you is get a rock, a stone, or a crystal that's going to help you to balance out that third eye chakra better. And if it still doesn't balance out, I would tell you, make sure that maybe a Reiki master or somebody that Healing Touch might be able to help balance that out a little bit. But it's really hard to maintain balance, especially with grounding, with the weather being as crappy as it is right now. So maybe a black or red rock may be able to help and open up your root chakra to keep that foundation a little bit more balanced, because most than likely these 3 chakras are blown open and your root chakra isn't. And a lot of times that's where we get the headaches from. So, but almost always enlightened people are always going to see 1111, 333, 444, 777. We're always going to see those replicating numbers. And once you see replicating numbers, you'll see them every day for the rest of your life. So that's why at Awakenings, we price our prices like $222, $333 for a stone or a crystal. And people are like, aha, I get it. And enlightened people are like, why would you price stuff like that? So it's really cool to be able to see people that walk in the store that are enlightened. They're like, oh my God, I get it. And other people who aren't, they're like, why would you do that? We're like, so hopefully that makes sense. Somebody was asking, how do my daily readings come to me? Honestly, I just sit and I kind of clear out my mind, and the first thing that pops in, that's what we go with. Other times, I'll know if it's going to be a shitty day if my kids are arguing. So if my kids wake up on the wrong side of the bed, most likely everybody else does too. But you have to look into astrology here just a little bit with this, because the more intuitive you become, the more you use it, right? The more you get into the groove of this, you're going to notice that you're going to become more sensitive. And so you're going to be sensitive to energy shifts such as full moons, new moons, solar flares, geothermal activity, Schumann resonance, you're going to be more sensitive to those things. So those do come in and act as a bit of a factor. Very much like Mercury retrogrades in now, which we have until the 6th. Thank God, we're almost there, guys. We're almost there. This last week has been very emotional, very raw. A lot of raw emotions coming to the surface. I'm like, good. That's good. We're getting out some old subconscious crap to make way and get rid of it for some good stuff to happen. So for me, when people are purging emotionally like this, it's a good thing. It really is. It's not good when you're just sitting there crying in front of people just out of nowhere. So we just go with it. But understand, we're just about out of that Monday. Today's Monday, tomorrow's Tuesday. So we're getting more balanced emotionally speaking. So, but like I said, this last week and weekend, it was pretty emotional for a lot of people. But we're shedding, we're getting rid of, we're detoxing good stuff, right? So, okay. How do you get to the attitude of not caring what others think about you? I seem to be overly sensitive. And I'll tell you, empaths, my empathic peeps have a harder time with caring what other people think because they can feel that emotional shift. I've learned how to control my empathy. Therefore, I got to a point to where I stepped into who I was. And I was able to step into that when I really figured out my life purpose. That helped with it too. So if you don't always know what that life purpose is, to be able to kind of own part of that, that's not easy. So what I tell people is, a lot of people ask me about their life purpose. I'm going to tell you, follow your curiosity. That's the easiest way to find it, is to follow that curiosity of yours. So that always helps. Okay. My husband and I have been trying for 4 years to have another baby. When I was a teenager, told by a palm reader I'd have twins. Is there truth to palm readings? Yeah, there is. So, and so maybe twins or 2 children. Sometimes that's not always easy. So, Abby, what I will tell you is, it sounds to me like you're having I would tell you, if you want to get pregnant, don't talk to your dad right now. Your biological father, don't talk to him. So it sounds to me that there might be some communication or miscommunications when it comes to your father. You'd have to get a reading, because I'm curious to know if you are married to someone just like your father. So if your dad was a workaholic, your husband's probably a workaholic. So there's some other underlying subconscious issues that we would have to uncover. But the odds of you having twins, if a palm reader or an astrologer may have suggested that, then that's very possible. There is truth to astrology and palm readings. So personally, the best astrologer I've come across, who's also intuitive, who's really good, her name is Crystal B, out of New Jersey. So she's a Jersey girl. She kind of has a bit of an accent, but she's wonderful. And she's not only is she intuitive, but she really gives you a very good reading for her intuition and looking at what's coming for the year ahead. She's not all woo-woo, right? She's really down to earth. Best palm reader that I've come across, honestly, my best friend Shannon. Like, bar none. She's not confident about it yet, but she's a damn good palm reader. She also does palmistry parties too. And the best numerologist I've come across has been Dana Camp here in Omaha, Nebraska. She is wonderful. She's also very intuitive, but she uses numerology along with her intuition and integrates it, much like I use tarot cards in my intuition and integrate it. Crystal B does it with astrology and intuition, so she integrates it. So, like I said, good stuff, good stuff. But I just kind of wanted to throw it out there to some peeps. Like, sometimes it takes a team effort for you to really get to understand who you are. And that stuff's always, for me, very resonating. But I've had to go through a few people that didn't quite know what they were doing before I found some people that really understood what the hell was going on. So those are people that I simply suggest, because I've had very positive responses from them, and some other people too. So next question. What advice do you have for skin problems? Brittany, 2 things. One, it's probably nutritional. So I would tell you, make sure that you're really up and up on taking a multivitamin, especially prenatals. They're really good for the skin. And then the second thing is, I'm going to tell you, we all have the chakra system. I want you to work on your solar plexus, your self-confidence, because at this point you don't feel confident in your own skin. Therefore, here come the skin problems. So a lot of times it's not only that, it's stress too. So you got to learn how to de-stress. And if that's the case, I'm going to recommend meditation. So hopefully that helps. Okay. Is there any quantum related books you would recommend? I would, oh gosh, now you're going to put me on the spot because I got to think of his name. Greg Braden. So Greg Braden and Dr. Joe, oh crap, I got his book. Hang on, I even have it. So I'm reading it. Hang on, I have it. Yes, I read books. My mom would be so proud. So the one I'm just getting into is called Becoming Supernatural by Dr. Joe Dispenza. So he's another one, but he's more of a doctor, but he goes through the whole mind, body, soul connection, which I resonate with. But Greg Braden's really good when it comes to that quantum because he's a scientist, ex-scientist. So he's excellent. So I would say anything like that. And I would tell you, if you don't want to do the book, because some people don't like to read, YouTube it or do the book to audio type deals. I do that a lot when I'm driving. Excellent. Okay. How do I control empathy? That's hard. It's hard. Honestly, there's a top 3 things that you can do. Bubble trick. Say something like, God, angels, please surround me with the white light of the Holy Spirit. Imagine yourself in a big white bubble. That's going to act as a buffer between your energy and theirs. So that's an excellent one right there. The other one, black rocks, to kind of keep your auric field more to yourself. And then number 3, learn how to meditate so you can understand, is this your energy or is it somebody else's energy? So that way you can understand, is it my emotional issue or is it your emotional issue? Because I want you to be able to decipher whose issue it is. All right. So that's just little bit of advice. Okay. So yes. What would you suggest for gallbladder or gut issues? Amanda, that's easy. That's simple. Quit taking on guilt. You take everybody else's shit on and you think it's you. And I would tell you, stop allowing it. It's guilt. You feel guilty for everything. Oh God, I got to help this person or they're not going to like me. You're self-sacrificing way too much. And there's way too much guilt as a response. So deal with the guilt. You won't have any gallbladder issues. So almost all of my empaths have gallbladder issues and thyroid issues because they feel guilty about things and they don't speak their truth. So almost always those two go hand in hand. I'm having heart pain, few months, EKG is fine, further test. Mary, that it depends. So we're gonna have to talk about this real quick. So Mary, I need to know, is your heart racing? So if you're sitting there, does it go and does it palpate really quickly? Or does it just ache and pain hurt? I need to know the difference because one means different. So it's the heart palpitations that you're having. Okay, so that is due to a heart chakra issue opening very quickly. And I'll tell you, unless you have a heart monitor, you really can't track it because it kind of comes and goes just literally out of nowhere. What I'm going to tell you to do is bear down and cough like that. Bear down, cough. It'll kick your heart right back into rhythm. When the energy settles down a little bit better, you're going to notice that'll go away. So I would tell you, look into something called SVT. S as in Sam, V as in Victor, T as in Tom, SVT. That's what it is. It's a heart chakra issue. People that go through an awakening very quickly will have heart palpitations. Or if we have major shifts of energy, that will also cause the heart to palpate. So most likely that's what it is. You can, but you need a heart monitor to be able to track that. And then what they would do is go through the heart and then maybe just correct one thing, very simple surgery if you have to go that route. But most likely it doesn't hurt. You might get a little lightheaded, but just bear down, cough. It'll kick it right back into rhythm, no problem. So, okay. What tips do you have to prevent getting sick? Great question. Easy solution. Be happy. Be happy. Don't stress. So it's amazing to me how many people stress out over shit that hasn't even happened yet. And it blows my mind. Like I ask people all the time, do you have healthy kids? Well, yeah. Do you have a good husband? Well, yeah. Do you have a house that you're living in that you can afford the payments on? Well, yeah. Do you have money in the bank? Well, yeah. Do you pay for most of your bills? Well, yeah. I'm like, then what's the problem? Then I don't see the problem. So a lot of times people aren't looking at the gratefulness because it could be a lot freaking worse. So start looking at what you're grateful for instead of lack of. So that's really going to help with the stress level of things. But again, manage your stress, manage sickness. People don't get sick willy-nilly. People get sick due to stress, and they get sick due to subconscious negative emotions that they refuse to deal with, or they don't even know that they have. All right. So what I'm going to tell you is be happy, get your sleep if you can. Obviously, if you're going through an awakening, you're maybe going to get 4 hours of sleep anyway. You know what? Get up, do something. Don't dredge about it. Okay. So, but the biggest thing, be happy. Jam out to the radio if you're going to be happy. Do things that are going to keep the vibration for you high. All right. Jennifer is asking about low back pain. Low back pain is always money, money, money. Worried about money. When you're doing a job that you're going to pay for the bills, and it has nothing to do with your life purpose. So that means to tell me, Jennifer, somebody taught you how to worry about money. So your job is to untrain yourself. And I'm going to tell you, I didn't really realize this until I started thinking about it. And I came across, oh gosh, her name is Christine Marie Sheldon. She's on YouTube. Look her up, okay? She has a meditation about abundance blockages. I'm going to tell you, it's fabulous because she goes in that subconscious part and you'll figure out who freaking taught it to you, understand it's a learned behavior, transmute it or change it, and then you can deal about other stuff. And then we can finally get it out of your system. So that's what I'm going to tell you is that would be the easiest way to deal with something like that. But like I said, lower back pain, money warrior all the time, all the way. Scoliosis, Dominique, that means to tell me that your family structure growing up wasn't very solid. So then you need to deal with that family structure. So, and that's a subconscious issue too. So most likely that's what scoliosis comes about. Melanie is asking, any tips for dealing with toxic people that drain you? Yes, couple things. One, black tourmaline all the time, right? When you're out in public, when you're peopling, I highly recommend black tourmaline. So whether it's a bracelet, a rock, earrings, I give no shit. Just have a piece on you. It's going to help with your auric field so they're not draining you or pulling your energy away. Energy vampires, right? The second thing is to lessen the time that you have to talk to them. So instead of talking to them for a half hour, we're going to shorten that shit up to 10 minutes, okay? And don't be afraid to be like, oh, I'm sorry, I have to go. End the conversation, leave. And then number 3, take a sea salt bath. That's why I sell salt. Salt is big, it's huge, right? It's even biblical. It goes way back in time. So the reason why it's very cleansing. So if you take a salt bath before you go to bed at night, you'll be ready to rock the next day. It recharges the energy reserves from whoever the hell is draining you, all right? So that really helps out a lot. Why do some people have dreams of their loved ones, others don't? Good question. So in order for us to get into visiting the spirit world, you have to be able to get into REM sleep. Now remember, REM sleep means that you're falling asleep to 8 to 9 hours. Hello, going through an awakening ain't gonna happen. You're sleeping 5 to 6. If you're lucky, 5, right? So unless you're going through REM sleep, your soul can't leave the body to be able to go check into heaven, say hi to your loved ones, and come on back, all right? So some people are just better sleepers than others. So we're going to go with it. So if you don't get to dream about your loved one, ask them to give you a sign. They're probably giving you 10 signs throughout the day instead of your other peeps who are just able to dream. So everybody gets to be able to figure things out from their loved ones in different ways. Dreaming, simply put, just isn't yours. That's all right. Ask them to give you a sign a different way and then pay attention to how they do it. So you can't sit there and say, okay, God, if my mom is with me, then have her flick on and off the lights. It doesn't work that way. They're not that quick. You have to sit there and say, okay, Mom, if you're around, I'm really having a bad day. I could really use a sign. Do it that way. You're going to get a sign usually within 5 to 10 hours. They're pretty good. And you'll see something, you're like, oh my God, it reminds me of my mom. That's a sign. That's how it works. So pay attention to the subtlety. It's always subtle. Rarely is it the damn 2x4 like we really want. Usually it's pretty subtle. So you got to pay attention to stuff. When I've been meditating, oftentimes I see a white light or light flickering in between my eyes. Ooh, that's good stuff. Justice, that is your third eye chakra opening. And not only is it opening, your clairvoyance is beginning to rise or become more adapt. So what you're doing is you're actually becoming more clairvoyant. So that's awesome. That's good stuff. So that's really good. So clairvoyance doesn't mean that you're seeing dead people with your eyeballs, okay? People like to think that. That's a rare bird. That doesn't happen that often. What clairvoyance is that you're seeing pictures or images in your head very quickly, and you're like, why am I daydreaming about something like that? Well, you're not daydreaming. It's actually spirit. All right. Why are there so many horrible things happening in my family all at once? Man, sometimes things happen just in like 1 year. So sometimes people just have that happen in families. And a lot of times it's just going to be a challenging year. We have challenging years. We have detoxing years. We have transformative years. And sometimes it's years, sometimes it's months. So it's not necessarily like, oh, it's happening just to you. My biggest thing that I'm going to tell you is don't focus on the negative. Don't focus on the negative. Easier said than done, right? But just simply put, don't focus on the negative. So bad things happen to good people all the time. But try not to focus on that negative if you can't help it. I get the hiccups. So, and I know that, like I said, that's easier saying than done. Little baby steps though. So like I said, jam out to that radio, listen to a comedian on YouTube while you're getting ready in the morning. So anything to lighten the mood. So, and the biggest thing is that if there's some negative people around you that are kind of draining you, again, limit your time with them. Just limit the time. So can a family member who has passed on become one of your guides? Yes. So for instance, if grandpa committed suicide and grandson is thinking about doing the same thing, grandpa will absolutely come in as a spirit guide to help guide the grandson not to do it. So yes, it's a little bit more common than what people would like to think, but it does come in. I thought it was more rare, but after talking to, my spirit guides and people over here, it's a lot more common than what I'm thinking. So because they really do come in to help guide, just like spirit guides do. Angels come in to protect and guide as well. So it's just kind of like team spirit over here. It's just not one person that's going to help you. It really is a team. So do spirits dictate how they will look when they appear, such as clothing that they're wearing? It depends. So when I'm doing a mediumship reading, they're going to show up as they were when they died. They're going to wear similar clothing. They're going to have similar personalities. I mean, if the guy was an alcoholic, he's going to have a drink in his hand. If the guy wore suspenders, he's going to snap his suspenders at me. So they're going to come in as they were when they died, so I can validate who they are to the person that's sitting across from me. Then I'll relay messages, because I can sit here and relay messages and they're like, oh, that's nice, my mom loves me. But if I don't validate to them, your mom who loved to garden, who had her house was painted green and she loved the color green, and she cooked these special brownies with the white frosting on top for you. And if I don't validate that person, then the message is not going to be received nearly as well as if I validate that person first. So that's evidential mediumship, and I'm big on evidential mediumship. So that's why. How can I stay positive? I have so much pain from fibro. It's wearing me down. So Julie, the biggest thing I'm going to tell you with this, and it's simple. If somebody asks how you're doing, lie. Fake it to make it. I'm doing okay. Okay is better than I hurt. I'm in pain. Today isn't a good day. Your self-talk matters. Watch what you're telling yourself and telling other people. So the biggest thing is that, like I said, I'm having an okay day. Not the best day, but it's okay. Better than I'm not having a good day. So number 2, I want you to get into meditation so you can control your thoughts and your words and your actions and your behaviors better. Hard when it's when you're sore. So, and I'll say sore, hurt, big difference. See the difference between the word hurt and sore. So do you see what I mean? That's what I'm like, just tweak the verbiage a little bit. That's all, tweak the verbiage. So best place to place a vision board, in your bedroom, in your bedroom. So when you wake up in the morning, you're looking at your vision board, daydream about it, because that way when you get your ass out of bed, you're going to work because you want that. That's the best place to put it. Or some people are more motivated when it comes to their fridge. So I would tell you their fridge or your bedroom wall. Here's the kicker with this. I want you to change the location up about once every 6 months, because over time, remember, we get used to seeing things and it's an oversight. So if you can move it around in the bedroom, maybe 1 minute stick it on your window and the next minute stick it on your wall, that's going to be the best thing. So best place for a vision board, definitely in the bedroom. And like I said, I'm a big person in vision boards and a big person when it comes to goals. Because if you don't know what you want out of life, how do you expect your spirit guides to guide you? That's their job. Their job is to guide you. They can't guide you to happiness if you don't know what makes you happy. They can't guide you to wealth if you don't know what you want to do to get it. So the biggest thing is know what it is that you want. So you guys just see that? Do you see that white little streak? Yeah, I saw it too. Okay. Next. Sorry, I had to step away. Did you answer the question about psychic circle being good to communicate to? I'm assuming you mean in psychic board or like a Ouija board or an angel board. I'm okay with that. They're all tools. They're all divination tools. And a lot of times when I tell people a Ouija board is a divination tool, they automatically go, ee, and they freak on me. Now, wait, let's be real about this. It's a tool. Now, it's no different than using a pendulum. You're going to set your intent on a pendulum. I only want to talk to, God, angel, spirit guides. Can I ask a question? You're setting an intent. You're saying these 3 people are the only people I'm going to talk to. Same with the Ouija board. You can set the intent on the board that you only want to talk to people who are for your highest good. When you're done with the board, you close it out with a goodbye, right? Yes, it's a tool. Yes, it's a usable tool. Yes, you can do it with yourself. Again, we only want to talk to people that are for our highest good. But if you're going to do it out of a negative intent, like, oh, let's see what we can drum up, well, you're going to drum up some shit. It's going to be bad. You're going to drum it up. And then those are the people calling me going, oh, I don't know what to do to fix it. And I'm like, get out. So, because I'm like, if you're going to be a dumbass and do things stupidly to bait spirit on, you're going to get it. So, because you got to remember, guys, spirit is people too. So be respectful and you will have a way better experience than disrespect. How should I store my pendulum? Honestly, I have mine on a piece of selenite. Selenite charges and cleanses all stones. I have mine on selenite or black kyanite. Black kyanite will charge and cleanse too. So, but I always like the selenite. I got a big old slab and I just stick all my rocks on it. Have any tips for focusing and grounding yourself? Ooh, good one. Okay, so here's the deal with this one. It is very difficult right now to ground, right? We can't go outside and play. It's snowy and cold. So 2 things that we can do that are really easy. Number 1, go downstairs. Downstairs is a basement. It's grounding, right? So go downstairs, stand there in Superman pose. Hands on hips, Superman pose. And imagine roots coming out of your feet all the way down to the center of the earth. Now, guys, got to remember, your imagination is your intuition. So if you imagine roots coming out of your feet, grounding down to the center of the earth and having the center of the earth coming up all the way back up, grounded. So that really helps. Black rocks also help you. So anything, grounding mats. Oh my gosh, grounding mats. Now, don't get me wrong, grounding mats a little pricey. They're about $100, but they're excellent if you're doing anything, any work when it comes to electronics. So if you really want to stay focused and we're having a hard focus day, grounding mat's the way to go. You're supposed to, because it's a shungite pad, it's about this big, and you plug it into the wall. What it does is it gives you the same energy as the earth, same resonance as the earth, and it's made of shungite. So what you're going to do is you're going to put your feet on it. Bare feet's best, but it's cold outside, socks are fine. If you don't feel comfortable doing that, sit on the damn thing. So what that does is helps to get your energy down here so it keeps you focused and logical. So that's really going to help out with grounding too. We do sell a lot of these things that I'm talking about. We sell at Awakenings, but I love grounding mats in the middle of winter. I rarely use my grounding mat in the spring and summer because I'm able to go outside. But in the winter months, the grounding mat, hey, that's the way to go. That's actually how I wrote a lot of my books, because it's hard for me to stay focused for a long period of time due to my ADHD and due to my enlightenment as well. Why do I keep seeing freaking orbs all over? Holy shit, are you guys seeing this? This is it's crazy. I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it on my camera. I'm not seeing it behind me, but it's weird. Anyway, so grounding mats are the way to go. Like I said, hopefully that helps. We're on the next question. Difficult time dealing with chronic pain from spine injury. Ooh, those hurt. You know, the funny thing, the first thing that came to my mind, believe it or not, hypnotherapy. Try some hypnotherapy. Personally, I like A+ Hypnosis here in town in Omaha. You know, Tim and the staff there is wonderful. So hypnosis actually might be a really good option. Same with the lady earlier who was talking about fibro pain. So I'm big on that. You know, CBD oil, that's another option too. But hypnotherapy seems to be really having a lot of positive effect from the feedback that I'm getting. So especially for chronic pain. So that might be another option for you. Let me see. Yeah, somebody was talking about emotions. Like I said, last week, extremely emotional. This week, we're starting to get some more balance. Next week, excellent. So remember, we're all shedding right now. We're detoxing. We're shedding old subconscious shit. Get it out. If you got to cry, cry. Don't feel ashamed about that. Get it out. So, moderate. Okay. Any supplement suggestions to use for moderate to severe ADHD? Ooh, that's a tough one. So again, with me having ADHD, I can tell you, meditate, 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 meditate. And you are going to sit there and tell me, but I can't get my brain to sit down and shut up. Guess what? I have ADHD. I can't get my brain to sit down and shut up. It took me 2 years to get to that point. Your job is to sit there for 10 minutes and do nothing. That's hard. If you can't do 10 minutes, go down to 5 minutes. I had to start with 5 minutes, and then I went to 7 minutes. Then I went to 10 minutes. And then I finally eventually got to 20 minutes. And then when I got to 20 minutes, then I could start learning how to control my brain. But for me to sit there for 5 minutes was painful, truly painful. So I'm going to tell you, start there. Set a timer, stay there, and sit there and be like, no electronics, no music, just silence. Sit there in silence for 10 minutes. If you got kids in the house, I get it. It's hard, right? I got 3 teenagers. So understand that if you can sit in your car, that counts. So where the hell you can get it in to sit and chill, that counts. Even if you can't get there to sit there and get your mind to sit still. Again, guys, that's mastership status. That's what we want to attain to. That ain't how it starts. Your job is to sit there, chill, don't worry about it. Then you're going to notice things happening. It's the after effects. It's the after effects of meditation that's so big. Not what happens during it. It's the after effects. So that's the good stuff. All right, next. Can injuries be related to past lives? No, not usually. The only time I've ever seen that connection is if there's a birthmark also involved. Sometimes, yes, birthmarks are an indicator on how somebody died in previous lives. So usually, no. Sometimes there's emotional trauma that comes through families, but again, that's learned behavior, not necessarily something that was like given. Do you see what I mean? So everybody's different, or every situation's different. So you have to look at each situation differently. But sometimes it can come in from past lives. Like I said, it depends. Every situation's different. But the biggest thing I can tell you is that, especially a lot of times people will come to me, and this is where I have to disagree, that they'll come to me and say, well, I have karmic debt from a previous life. If you are going through an awakening, or if you're enlightened at this point, your karmic debt is paid in full. You no longer have to carry that burden. It doesn't exist. So at this point, that's like, if you're awoken and enlightened, you've served your karmic debt. It's been paid. Otherwise, you wouldn't have been enlightened. You wouldn't have gotten to go through a spiritual awakening if that were the case. Personal input on getting the flu shot. Personally, I won't get one. I absolutely refuse to. But did I get my kids vaccinated? I did. I didn't do 8 shots in one go. I didn't do that. I didn't think that was right. So I took my kids over several times to get their vaccinations, because personally, nobody needs freaking polio or measles or shit like that. Because if there's something to control that, but there's other stuff too that I'm like, on. That's personal preference for everybody. Really, it is. So personally, I don't do flu shots. I don't think it works. I think it's more toxins in the body that needs to be. And there's a lot of debate on this, but for me personally, it doesn't resonate. Sorry. If you're happy, you don't have to worry about getting the damn flu, because you won't get sick in the first place. So, leg and heel pain. Nikki, that's easy. That's usually stubbornness. So stubbornness, you know what you need to do to fix or change your life. You're stubborn and stuck in fear. So hopefully that helps. And I'm really big on the mind, body, soul connection. And so I like health indicators. As a matter of fact, I like health indicators so much, and how it's in relation to subconscious thoughts and stuff like that. I have a friend of mine who's a PA that I'm going to be following around in some of the hospitals to be able to look at somebody and know exactly what they have before they're even diagnosed or figured out. So I'm really getting into that right now. So I'm so excited, but I really like that mind, body, soul connection, and how people get sick due to emotional trauma or emotional issues. I'm a family 13, feel like something bad is always happening with somebody. It's a constant stress. Any advice? Yeah, Mary, it's simple. Quit taking on your family shit as yours. You don't need to. They are their own people. You are your own people. It's not your job to be the mama hen and take care of everybody and take on everybody's burdens. Quit being such an empath. You don't need to do that. So you're doing it for the right reasons, but as a result, it's making you sick and stressed out and in a constant state of agitation. Don't take on their crap. You don't need to. Just because you were raised a certain way doesn't mean that everybody's going to come out. You're going to have a crazy one, an alcoholic, a nasty one, a nice one, an empathic one. There's going to be one of every kind. So, and just because you were raised the same way doesn't mean that you're all going to come out the same way. You're not. So don't take on other people's burdens as your own. You don't need to. So instead, pray for them. Pray for them that they find the guidance that they need to be able to fix what's going on. You don't have to fix people's problems. You don't need to be the counselor. You don't need to be the one that everybody goes to. You are choosing to allow that in that position. You don't have to. Breast cancer indicator of, I will tell you, so many people younger than 40 are getting it. Yes, it's true. And the reason why is because we are now in a society that is always stressed out, always under pressure. And right breast cancer is holding on to resentment with your husband or your ex-husband. Left breast cancer is holding on to resentment with your children or siblings, but usually it's children. So the reason why is because of all this bitterness and this resentment, plus all the added stress on top of everything. So usually that's where it's coming from. Good book on chakras. Oh my gosh, there's so many. Man, I don't even know where to start. There's just so many. I don't even know. I don't even know where to go with that one. So just, I would tell you, jump on Awakening's website. Of course, I'm going to promote my own store, right? Jump on there. We have at least 4 or 5 that I personally picked out and that I like. So I would check that one out. I think I have a gift. Ask my guides to help me figure out what it is. Hands get really hot. What's that mean? Ooh, that means that you're a healer. That means that you need to look into Reiki, healing touch. You're the healer. That's good stuff. Look into that. So that's where I would tell you is look into Reiki. It's time to get you started in on it. So yeah, you're the healer. So a lot of times, and I'll give you guys a really quick trip right now. So if you hold your hands together like this for about 20 seconds, if you hold your hands like this, and then if you just let your hands relax, not tight, right? Let them relax a little bit. If you kind of go in and out really softly or gently, does it feel like magnets or like you're squishing cotton together? So understand that what you're doing is feeling energy. And if your hands get really hot, then that means that as an indicator that you're a healer, that you can go over people's bodies and be able to figure out what chakras are out of alignment, what body part might be out of alignment, things like that. So I'm like, oh, that's good stuff. But a lot of times what I tell people is that what you're doing is feeling chi or energy in your hands. So that, and only intuitive people or people that are enlightened or awoken will feel that. Unenlightened people don't have a clue. Had my thyroid removed due to cancer. What happens to the throat chakra? That means to tell me that you don't speak your truth. Yeah, and my guess is if you have thyroid cancer, then you don't speak your truth when it comes to somebody very close to you, such as your husband, your father, your mother. So it's going to be one of those 3 that you are not speaking your truth to. And as a result, you're biting your tongue, and that resentment's going to go somewhere, and it goes right into the throat. So most than likely, that's where it comes from. Let me see. How do you know if you're with your twin flame? You wouldn't ask the question. You would know. So most than likely, you're not with your twin flame. You're with a soulmate, which is great. There's nothing wrong with that. Twin flames are rare. Twin flames come together. 2 enlightened people come together for the betterment of humanity. They are in debt or in service to others. They chose to come here in heaven, chose to come here on earth after their lessons are learned at a certain point of their awakening, at least at a stage 4 or stage 5 of their awakening, to come together to support each other as soulmate. It's more than a soulmate relationship. You're mirror reflections of each other in order to help humanity. So that's what twin flames are. Rare. But that word likes to get thrown around a lot. I'm like, So that's a rare bird. Tiffany's asking about the different stages of awakenings. There's 5 different stages. What I'm going to tell you is go on my website, psychickelly.com, read my blog about it. I wrote about it. Okay, so it's just way easier to read about it than it is for me to describe it here. So, any tips for herbs and or crystals for weight loss? Oh, I can't think of off the top of my head. But I know blue apatite's one of them. Literally, blue apatite. So I know at Awakenings, we do have a weight loss kit. So that would be something that I would recommend. It's just a group of 3 or 4 stones that I put together in a kit for that specific reason. And if you buy a kit from Awakenings, by the way, it is set with my intention on it. So if you buy a weight loss kit, it is set for the intent of weight loss. So if you buy a stress management one, it is set for the intent of you to relieve stress or deal with stress a better way. So I wanted to acknowledge that. If your hands feel cold with that, that's okay. Some people feel heat, cold, electricity, cotton, magnets. Everybody feels something different. Yes, Katie's asking the question. This might be a silly question, but when she goes out driving at night, she always sees a street light go out when she passes underneath it or when she goes near it. Katie, it is your energy causing that street light to go out. That means to tell me that you are in a meditative state when you're driving. You're not thinking of anything. You're letting go of your day. You're detoxing. You're letting go. And what's happening is you're getting yourself into a meditative state. Your crown chakra goes boom. It goes on. And as a result, it causes an electric charge or a dissonance when it comes to the electrical lights. So you're causing the lights to go out. You are the one doing it. Spirit isn't doing it. You are. So if that's the case, what I'm going to tell you is be careful when you go shopping, because you're going to be the one that goes to the checkout line and they're like, oh, well, it was working and now all of a sudden it's not working. So do you mind going to the other lane? So make sure that you have some black tourmaline or some black rocks or a grounding pendant on when you're going to be out in public, because you're going to blow shit up. So now would be a good time to back up your computer and your phone as well, because the ability for you to be blowing those up pretty high. Same with watches and other things as well. So yeah. Gum disease. Any advice for that? That's anger. So that's it's your blah. Just it all comes out at once. So control your anger. Sensitive teeth. Hell, I've got it. I don't know why. My teeth are very sensitive too, especially to hot and cold. So, and my teeth are very thin. So I think that has something to do with it. Sensodyne works well, but I'm a little pissed at Sensodyne because they don't have it without fluoride. So just make sure you don't swallow it, or just really rinse it out really good. Why did I see a dark shadow in my dream? You know, there's a lot of different reasons. What I'm going to tell you is I personally like dreammoods.com. They have an awesome website. So get on dreammoods.com, look that up, see if it resonates with you. Most than likely, it's something that you are in fear of in your real waking life. So dark shadows, demons, Satan, stuff like that, that's severe fear in your waking life. You're scared of something. Maybe scared of another person. Maybe you're in a victim mentality. It depends. So I would tell you, look that one up and see what resonates with you. If you lose a stone, is there a reason? Yeah, it means vibrationally speaking, it did its job and you are no longer a match. So a lot of times if somebody comes into awakenings and they're like, hey, I lost my rock, I need to replace it. I'm going to tell you, no, you don't get to, because that means to tell me that you think you need it. That means to tell me that it's already been taken care of. So I would tell you, nope. So that happens a lot. People come in, oh, I lost my rock. I'm like, well, you're not getting one to replace it. The only time I would suggest you get one to replace it is with selenite or black tourmaline. Those are the ones you can replace, because sometimes if black tourmaline, if you lose it or it jumps out of your pocket, or you have a bracelet and it breaks, that means to tell me that where you're at is very negative. You leave it lie. You leave it lie where it broke. So you don't want to touch that. Just leave it. Let me see. Good questions, guys. Yeah. Talked about the breast cancer one. La 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 la. I bought some stones. Do you wear them all at all times? Yeah, it depends. So, and what I mean by that is that on my piece of selenite, I have all kinds of different rocks. And crystals. I'm going to start calling them crystals. They're rocks. So what I end up doing, though, is that at my day, I wake up and I'm like, ooh, that one looks good. I literally pick like 3, throw them in my pocket, away I go. There's other days I don't even want rocks. When I'm going out in public, I want my black rocks. So it just kind of depends. It depends on where I'm going, what's going on for the day, stuff like that. So let me see. I have a citrine stone that's broken in 3 pieces. Ooh, that means that it tells me that it did its job. It did its job. Katie, that means to tell me that you have been doing a better job working on your self-confidence. So I would tell you citrine now is not your stone. And if you want to replace it, get a different stone that's yellow, but not citrine. Get something different. So that's for me, that's a good indicator. That means to tell me that you've been doing better about working on your self-confidence. So that's good stuff. It appears that I often get messages from myself and my family through songs. Yes, songs is a wonderful sign from spirit and loved ones on the other side. So if you guys wake up and there's a song in your head, it's the words. It's the words you need to listen to, not the melody. It's the words. So a lot of times spirits will come through with song. Music and song is a little different because it's, how do I say, it's etherical. So music is very vibrational, meaning that not only can, if you're jamming out to the radio, your spirit guides are too, because that music, they can feel it. So when you're feeling that jam, they're feeling it too. So it's very universal. Music has always been very universal. So it's very much a universal language, vibrationally speaking. Let me see. Yeah, going to sleep, you hear songs. When you guys are getting ready to go to sleep at night, understand that you are getting ready to enter into a meditative state. So if you hear your name being called, if you hear people talking in another room, if you hear like ding dong, or you hear chimes or bells or different like music or song, I'm going to tell you that that is your clairaudient, or your ability to hear spirit is getting not only tuned on, but with you meditating, you're not thinking of anything. You're meditating, you're tapping into their energy. The one thing that my spirit guide said to me a long time ago that really helped out was that they said, we are not coming into your world to scare you. We've been here the whole time. You are coming into our world. So there's no need for you to be scared if you hear us talking. It's because you finally got your head to sit down and shut up long enough. Did you guys see that orb just go? It's not a fuzzy. I don't see a fuzzy. This is freaking weird. I've never seen orbs in my, this is weird. Anyway, so another spirit all around saying hi. I'm like, well, quit going in front of my camera or behind it. Geesh. But like I said, getting back to that point, like I said, when you're meditating, you're not thinking of anything. Therefore, you're tapping in. You're tapping into their world. They're not tapping into yours. So there's no need to have any fear with that. At any point in time, if it doesn't feel comfortable, tell them. Tell them, hey guys, I'm a little scared, a little freaked out. Hey, back off. And if that's the case, ask for angels to come by. Angels will come help to protect and buffer out any negative energy or anybody that's not for your highest good. Yeah, June, you're seeing them too? Okay, then I'm not going nuts. Husband just opened up about seeing spirits a few weeks ago. They scare him a lot. Feels like he's being held down in bed, can't move, he's awake. Ooh, so Mary, if that's the case, I'm going to tell him that I want him to go get a healing, like a healing touch session done. He may have some sort of a negative entity attachment. That's possible. But we need to get to the bottom of this. There's different tips and tricks that we can do to help him. Okay. So I need to know if it's sleep paralysis. I need to know if this is a negative entity pinning him down. Once we get to the bottom of it, it is fixable. I don't want him to think that it's not fixable, but it must be scaring him enough now at this point to be saying something to you. So if that's the case, let's just talk to him. So you never know. All right, next. Mega Mike said, bye, this is weird. Bye. So I feel guilty about setting boundaries with people. Don't. You know, not everybody's going to understand why you're setting boundaries. You have to do it for self-preservation. You must take care of you in this life. Nobody else is going to take care of you. You take care of you. You are born alone. You're going to die alone. This is your game to play while you're here. And allowing toxic people in your world, allowing foolish behavior, allowing all this negative shit and not setting up proper boundaries is only going to come back to bite you in the ass. So stand firm with setting boundaries. And you don't always have to tell people that you're setting a boundary between them. You don't have to do that. Your job is simply put to set that boundary up and just be like, you know what? If this person starts talking about religion or politics, I'm simply going to end the conversation or change the subject. So again, all you can do is control you, what you do, what you say, how you react. That's it. That's all you got control over. You can't control other people, but you can control what you have in your world and what you're no longer willing to allow in your world. Those are the things you can control. And that's I'm like, it's not easy to set up boundaries. It never is. You'd think it'd be easy. It's not, especially for my empaths. Empaths have a hard time with that stuff. So it's okay. Just set your proper boundary. Stand firm with your boundary. All right. Next. La, 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 la. I'm going to do 2 more and then I got to go because I haven't eaten dinner yet. I feel like I constantly have a short fuse. How can I help with that? Abby, really common when it comes to indigos. Indigos don't have long fuses, especially when it comes to stupid people. So your job is to forgive people for their ignorance. Number 2, then forgive yourself. But again, remember, before you go and react or feel like you need to defend yourself, look at where that person is. Are they really in full understanding with who you are, or are they just poking the bear, wanting to see if they get a reaction? So, like I said, that's hard. That's really, really difficult. So, but your job is to take a deep breath before you react. So I got better with that through meditation. You guys are going to hear me talk about meditation all the time. I'm big on meditation. Big on meditation. So that's how you learn how to control your shit. And lastly, I'm going to answer this last one because it's a great question. The constant high-pitched ringing. Okay, so if it happens in both ears, I'm going to tell you that is a shift of energy when it comes to earth shift, when it comes to full moon shift. Sometimes we have a shift of energy, both the ears are going to ring. Low-pitched ringing in the right ear are usually spirit guides. High-pitched ringing in the ear is usually going to be angels. Left side, that's usually more or less your loved ones. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it could be a spirit guide as well. But almost always high-pitched ringing in the right ear is going to be angels. Low-pitched is going to be more of your spirit guides. Left side, maybe somebody's trying to get a hold of your attention. So it's all depends. So I want to thank everybody again for attending this live Q&A. Again, I do these monthly. So if you guys didn't get your question answered, or after this session, you're like, oh my gosh, I just remembered one. It's okay. Tune in next month. Like I said, I like to do these monthly. So follow me on Facebook and keep checking out those daily readings as well. Share away. I'm all good with that. So thanks again, guys, for attending this live Q&A. And thanks again for tuning into my YouTube channel. Make sure to subscribe, and I will be talking with you soon. Take care, guys. Thanks again for attending. Bye now.